He thinks it's cosplay. It's not.
So, see, that was funny because you went, oh no. Oh no.
Oh crap, I'm being recorded.
So thoughts on VR? Like, obviously it's not something that everyone's used yet, and it's not like a big, every household has to have one yet, or movies aren't out in them, because God help us when that happens.
Well, it's going to be. It's going to be. I mean, I was reading today how the Xbox One's going to be coming out. They're going to be showcasing it in E3 2017.
Yeah.
Scorpio. The stupidest name of console I've ever heard. But
Neo was bad as well.
Anywho, I mean, I've personally not used one. I really, really, really want one. I don't have a PlayStation 4. If I did, I would have bought it. I don't care how many bugs there are with it. I'd buy an Oculus Rift and strap it to my face if I could.
You heard it here first. We'll use a strap-on his face.
Yeah,
I mean,
are you strapping the VR to your face, or
as long as it's not like the virtual
entire
boy?
That's
Oculus
okay,
franchise?
because if you face your eyes behind you, Rob, that is yours to take home with you today.
Oh, sweet. Screw the podcast. I'm off.
We can certainly test it.
This looks horrible.
So for those of you who can't see what we're looking at just now, it's essentially a black version of the Virtual Boy without the weird eye holes on the front. It's a cheap phone equivalent to a VR headset.
I'll basically be running around my living room pretending to be Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell, because that's exactly what the headset looks like.
He will be doing it naked. Because why not?
How else would you do it? I mean,
when people ask you, like, why are you naked? You're like, I'm dressed in the game.
I'm a spy.
It's Metal Gear Solid in a box.
But no, I think VR is like totally where we have to go. It is the next step. It is the next thing. There's no other way around it.
I am not too sure.
I agree. I'm very until I get a holodeck, I don't care.
Dan, I am half blind. I wear glasses all the time.
You're so
That's
blind.
going to be really uncomfortable with my glasses.
Aye, Captain. I
Well,
have contacts. You
there's
wear
gonna be,
contacts.
but there's going to be like an attachment or something. Not on this one. This looks like you bought it from Hong Kong.
Okay.
But I mean, but like when the official one comes out, there must be like a seating arrangement that must be able to go over your face.
I'll crack this out while we're talking.
It's like an unboxing. Oh my god, it's like a whole new show.
Contacts are not an option. I don't want to have to like spend 10 minutes stabbing
Dear,
myself in the eye.
God, it's massive. And so's the
just
headset.
to play.
With things like this,
It's got pads. You're safe. Okay?
It's still gonna hurt.
Installed
That's
for your safety.
wow. So far we've discussed pads, strap-ons, and it's not gonna hurt.
See? Look how much it's not hurting. Look
See,
how,
right
look how
now,
not dead you
she
are
can't
right
tell
now.
what I'm doing. It's Quick,
For the
make
listeners
out.
at home, we're flipping her off.
quick,
Wait,
make
there's
out.
instructions on the lid. I can't read it.
Because it's... Yeah, I don't... Has she turned it on? I don't know.
No, this is
You'll
just...
know when she turns it on.
Can we leave her like that and just do the rest of the show? I mean,
Yeah.
Place your something which can be used repeatedly.
I've heard that before.
yeah, that sounds a lot.
I would
That's
take
very
that off though
sexual.
before you go funny
nature.
and blind.
It then talks about dust particles. I'm scared.
You talk about dust particles. But anyway,
No,
next
I-
week's
I-
show, Dust Particles, Part 3.
I mean, yeah, it's not going to be for everyone. Oh my god, I feel like Geordie LaForge.
Except cooler.
Nah, he was pretty badass.
Yeah, he was.
But excuse me, it's no. I mean, okay, yeah. If people with glasses, contacts, vision problems, it's going to be a thing. But also, you know, you get those warnings at the start of video games, like the original PlayStation. Don't play if you have epilepsy or
that's
prone to
still
falling
on
over, or
PlayStation
you know.
4. Every single time you turn it on, it's like
Well,
people
that's
with
great enough.
sensitive epilepsy.
But the thing is, there's always going to be things to stop most people playing it. But the thing, we will overcome this. We will make a bigger headset. We will.
It's big enough
I don't know.
already.
We're saying we, like I'm responsible. I'm defending this machine I've never used. We will make it better.
2 weeks from now,
handcraft one.
we create a new VR headset. It fits a turban.
Okay, I'm going to steer this conversation away from turbans because I reckon that's a road we can't come back from on the first
To be
show.
clear, I kind of agree with you that VR is, a bit of a gimmick product at the minute.
It's like the Wii.
Yeah, it's
That's
great.
how I
The
see
whole the waving wands thing.
And then you work out you can sit on the couch and do it, and you don't have to go anywhere. And suddenly bowling's not a stand up and swing thing; it's a
Yeah.
flick my wrist.
Flick of the wrist, yeah.
Get that wrist flick just right.
I don't need to
Great.
practice for that.
You can
I get enough
my
work
God.
done on that.
But don't we all? But you were saying earlier a holodeck.
Yep,
Right.
holodeck.
Fair enough. That's Star Trekky and miles away from where we are now. Light years even.
Oh,
nice. All right. But the thing is, this is the first step
That's a
towards
measurement of
something
distance,
like a
not
holodeck.
time. God,
That's a parsec. Or is that the other way around?
I don't know. This is why we don't talk
Someone
nerd.
phone
Anyway,
Han
moving
Solo.
on.
Yeah. Okay.
Holodecks.
God, we can't stick on a subject for shit. But no,
Shit,
I mean,
let's
like,
stick on a
the
subject. What
holodeck
do
is
we
like,
would?
yes, it's miles away from there. But this thing in the box that I'm pointing at, that is the first step in a very long journey towards these things. We need to work the bugs out. We need to sort this crap out. Obviously, we're not going to do it.
I don't think
Bill
it's
Gates will
exactly
do it for us.
The first step, though, we've done steps before this.
See, indeed we did. Quick segue to the Virtual Boy.
Oh, God.
Nintendo.
Nintendo's
Years
giant
ago.
lawsuit. That's what that was.
The Virtual Boy, for those who don't know, was a nice piece of tech developed by Nintendo so you could feel that you were in a game. Games included things such as 3D tennis with Mario.
Wario Land. I remember that
Wario
one.
Land. There was also Metal Gear Solid on the Virtual Boy, which basically was just...
No, that was Metal Gear. No,
Sorry,
Metal
that
Gear
was
Solid.
Gear,
Yeah,
correct. That was just Metal Gear on a bigger screen attached to your face. Because your mum didn't want to catch you at 2 a.m. doing it on the TV. No. You lay in bed with a box on your face. We do that now, but it's a totally different thing.
But this thing, I remember this bit of kid. I remember trying it out. I was like less than 10 years old, and you walked up to the video game section in like Walmart, or Kmart, whatever the hell the Canadian equivalent was, Tesco over here, and you stuck your eyes and everything was just red. It was dark red and light red and blacks, and you're like, wow, I feel like Predator.
Did you just stick your eyes in like a box of knives instead?
But you might as well have, because the thing is, this was a giant machine I was sticking my head into, and I couldn't actually realize that it's just a one strap that goes around behind your head. And it actually came with a tripod, so you can play it. It didn't become virtual reality anymore. It just became binoculars with a controller you had to lean into. Like you were Spock on the original Star Trek. Like, I don't know what it is, Captain, but it appears they're playing tennis. But I mean,
Genuinely, that's probably where they got the idea for that. Some Japanese person looked at that and went, hey, what if we could carry that around? Maybe, I bet Spock's playing Mario. If Spock could play anything, he was still playing Mario at that point on the bridge. Like, no, Captain, it looks like we're safe. Jump, damn it, jump!
oh god.
Ahura, you've ruined it again.
But I mean, looking at this thing right now. I mean, okay, it is at least a third the size. It's got virtually no weight.
It's very
to it.
light.
It's very light. I mean, but you're still. I can imagine. Well, you've used it after about maybe an hour. Your
I'd
head
like to
is starting to
clarify,
go. I mean,
They're talking about the
The VR
virtual
headset, yes.
oh, we're not talking about the strap on.
No. See, I don't need to wear that to find out, and my head doesn't get sore when I do.
But no, I mean,
Not that I know.
But this like I said, this is the Virtual Boy. Yes, was a clusterfuck of bad ideas melded into a single piece of unit. What did you say? Sold 77,000.
Yeah, it sold 770,000 units, and that's just in the US. Again, not taking into account for Japan. And then you put that into comparison to today's PlayStation VR, which is now currently sold 900,000 units in the first 12 months of being out there. Now, that's not a lot, but for Sony selling a VR console that's not actually anything to do with, anything they've really aimed at before, that's still a pretty high number.
Exactly.
So quite a lot of folks are getting involved with this.
And what they've done is they've set a benchmark, because Well, PlayStation did usually always. I hate to say this because I have the Xbox One, and I think PlayStation 4 users should all be lined up and shot. But PlayStation and Sony, they do set the benchmark for things. They get out there first, they make it happen, and then what Microsoft will do is they're going to come out with their Scorpio and their headset, and it's going to be. I already know it's going to be bad. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be £7,000, and I'm going to buy one, and I'm going to feel like an idiot.
See,
I'm going to do it.
I'm swaying the other way. I think Microsoft will nail this because they've watched the Oculus come out for the last God knows how long. So when the Vive comes out, or the whatever they're calling it now, comes out with the Scorpio, and they come hand in hand with each other, the technology that's going to caught up by then, I think will be a worthwhile product. Because they've seen what the PSVR does, and they've seen what all these sub-VR headset things do.
He's so disappointed looking at the box right now.
I just think when people realize the technology has moved on in a year, that's going to be the big step.
I don't have as much faith in bigger companies. I think we're definitely segueing into EA in a minute. But there's a whole bunch of people probably working at Microsoft saying, right, like you just said, Oculus, we nailed that. We're gonna see what Sony did. We're gonna get on top of that. We're gonna make something better. And then the guy above him, who's a manager, is gonna be like, yeah, but you only have $15. You gotta just make me something that's only cost $15, and they're just gonna push something out that's gonna be garbage. Microsoft do that. They
do indeed. But that's why Microsoft's not in charge of building it, and they went to a third party for it.
Who is who?
Well, when they went outside of Oculus, they went to Vive, who are a completely separate company. Oh. And they're going to develop one that goes hand in hand with it. And will work with Android as well. So they're going to be... Android will be working with Microsoft, who own Nokia now. So it's all very interweaving companies. And it's very odd.
Talking about just more people to drop the damn ball. That's all it is.
And talking of dropping the ball, we move swiftly onto EA as a company.
I hate you, EA. Go suck a dick.
Before we go any further, though, Victoria, you made a point before we even started. You said that, you don't really have a problem with EA. As someone who doesn't really know a lot of the controversy behind EA, why is it you actually don't mind them?
I think it's just...
On the spot.
I used to play Sims a lot.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
the groan in the room.
Back when I was like 12. Original Sims, where you had to put like the stupid little rosewood.
I'm not gonna lie, I played The Sims 2. It wasn't bad.
Oh man.
And yet, that's kind of my only real experience of EA is playing Sims as a kid.
Well, I mean, you've got Battlefield 1 at the moment. That's EA. How are you finding that?
I have not played it much. I seem to remember I got lost on a train and I fell off the top of it, and then someone saw me.
Gaming!
And I moved swiftly
Girl gamers
on
everywhere are now
to
clawing at the screens, the earpieces of their headsets, swearing at you. See, I have no... I'm in the middle because I hate EA. I wish they burned to the ground, but they make things that I want. And I know they're going to be rubbish, and I know they've messed it up, and I'm still going to buy it because I need to have them.
And then just hate yourself a
I
little
just hate
bit
that they ruin things. They ruin BioWare, one of the single greatest companies ever made.
Company that made Mass Effect.
Yeah, and Mass Effect, and Dragon Age, they took a giant steamer all over that one. They ruined the Mass Effect 3 ending. They tried to fix it. I appreciate what they tried to do. And Mass Effect Andromeda, not even out yet, technically, and it's ruined.
You hurt me. It's not ruined. It's beautiful. It looks tremendous. I'm yet to see a single animation problem. Everyone's complaining about them. I know there's videos. I've seen them.
A stunning video of
someone
the leg walking.
But that's only if you do things in a precise order, which undoubtedly will be fixed with a day one patch, as games always have now. Like Dead Rising had an 18 gigabyte day one patch. Like, if that's not saying your game is broken when you release an 18 gigabyte patch, which is half the size of the original game, by the way.
And but it's Assassin's Creed, was it Unity?
Oh, Unity. It's a beautiful game, but it was so broken.
Oh, you always just want to see floating eyeballs and dentures talking at you at the best of times. But I mean, it wasn't just the animation problems with Andromeda. Getting back to that, it was apparently I watched this entire video where they hired voice actors who clearly knew nothing about the series. They knew nothing about Mass Effect, and their script that they were reading from, it's like they just phoned it in. They didn't really give a damn.
Now, you see, I agree and disagree with this, because with Andromeda being set,
Get off the fence, Craig.
it's in between...
Get a job, Craig.
So it's set between 2 and 3, right? Originally, they set off after number 2. So, things with Shepard are still going on. But then, the actual gameplay takes place 600 years in the future, meaning they've avoided everything that happens in Mass Effect 3. So they got out of the system.
I'm getting an X-Men vibe here. We're just going to go back in time and fuck it all up.
See, they went back in time, sent people off, meaning they avoided everything that was going on in the system, got away from the Reapers, and know nothing about what happened, other than humanity's doomed. And they have to find a new home for them. So even when they find the new home for them, and they phone home going, hey guys, we found it, a Reaper's going to pick up and like, no. That's the only thing that I found so
Tell us where you are. We'll be there to pick you up in 15 minutes.
That's the only thing that I found so far that I'm like, this game it's great until that plot hole.
You've seen the intro. Now, without spoiling it for me, I'm assuming there's more than a brother-sister team on the ship.
Yes.
There's more than one human. All right, that's good, because I figured we need to make a new home and make a new Earth and populate that Earth. Let's just send one family. That's a good idea. We want our children to have 18 fingers and webbed toes. This is awesome. I mean, maybe that's where the animation problems come in, because they're all in red.
They've all got disjointed hips and floating eyes.
And none of them, they all speak, but none of them really know what they're talking about. They stare off into the distance, wondering.
But yeah, going back to EA, I don't think EA are terrible. I think they've got their finger in too many pies. One example being, like we said, Battlefield 1. Now, EA at this point also own the Titanfall series. Titanfall is one of my favourite games.
I like it.
As a first-person shooter, it's tremendous. The second game, amazing. My favourite game of this year, undoubtedly. I've played it, and I love it from top to bottom. It was a little bit short story-wise, but still more story than the first game had. That being said, they released this game in the middle of Call of Duty and Battlefield 1.
Yeah,
that shows that
EA
didn't care about their own game, going, we'll release either side of the 2 biggest shooters on the planet. One of which they owned! They owned this game! So they knew this was going to happen! They went, I wonder what our sales figures are. Let's pop that there. It'll be fine, because we'll get the money from Battlefield 1. And that's just like a free game that everyone got! So I'm like, this game is now being released and everyone's gone, oh, it sold terribly, maybe I won't pick it up. Because, you know, as people do, they read reviews and go, oh, only 10,000 people bought this game. I don't want that game anymore, because not enough people play it. Do you know why no one plays it? Because y'all picked up Battlefield 1 and still give EA your money.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I had to choose between the two, I've not played Titanfall. I played the first Titanfall. It was excellent. But like you say, no storyline. The only plot that you got was in the loading screens when you were going in, and maybe a little bit in the tutorial. But if I had to pick up Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2, I'd take Titanfall 2. I can't stand online shooters. And Battlefield 1 is apparently almost the same thing. It's got like your 6 missions at the start campaign mode, and even that's more like a tutorial.
Yeah, it works out. You've got 13 missions, but each one has 4 or 5 missions within it.
Yeah.
So you do get a lot, and you play through different segments of the First World War. Like, it's not just like Britain and, you know, the mega powers, you know, like Hogan and the Savage, and like the countries. It's just not that way to happen. They've taken real stories and they've put it into gameplay and said, do you know what? This is war. Yeah. Look at that exploding
Beast
blimp
out
up
the
there.
guns.
Yeah. It's
Find
like
me some Jerry's.
Man, the First World War wasn't really that interesting, but look at that blimp up there. It's on fire. You love fire, don't you, gamers?
Who wants a biplane? You want a biplane.
What was that you said? Oh, extra costs. Season pass!
I'm so tired of season passes. It's unreal.
EA nailed the market again with season passes. Everything.
But the thing is, they release loads of things. You get games now, and they all have a season pass. But you've only got one bit of downloadable content. And that's cheaper than the season pass. I'm like, is it worth, jumping in there and getting the season pass? Is just hoping to God you release something in the future that you've seen on a rumor IGN.
Oh, I love IGN. No, I don't.
You don't like IGN? I think IGN actually give really good YouTube reviews. I wouldn't go to the website and scroll through that because it's basically sticking your face into a hornet's nest. But
IGN is where I go to go, oh, there's been news about this. And then I'll go to my actual news site and read if it's real. Because IGN are always the first ones like, this happened, there's a rumor, there could be a rumor about a rumor. And then the actual page is like, nah, we we saw that, and no, that's not even a thing. So IGN blew it out of the water, and it's clickbait on YouTube.
Well, they have to make their internet dollars, don't they?
Thank you so far to everyone who's listened. Thank you so far for the comments, subscribing, sticking with us, like it, share it with your friends. Woo! Let us know what topics that you think we should talk about next time. Obviously, leave a comment down below. And if you agree or disagree with anything we've said, everything Rob said is wrong.
Craig is evil.
Like this video if you think that's true.
Speaking
I expect
of
a lot
evil.
of likes. Speaking of evil,
Resident Evil 7!
well, all of it is in the evil. Thoughts? Because you two have played it more than I have.
I
say that.
No, Victoria, you can't play Resident Evil 7 for more than 15 seconds, is it? And then you throw the controller at the TV and run away screaming?
No, it's not throwing the controller, it's throwing hot tea all over Craig's legs.
Hey, whatever works for you. That's what it's about.
You know that doesn't work for me. That hurts.
I played it. I borrowed the game from a friend. I had it for about a week and a half. It is very easy, but it is amazing. You guys have not completed it yet.
Well, I've seen the story and I've seen how it plays out, and I watched some.
You've not. I'm going to try and do this without ruining it. Again, it starts off so strong. It's amazing. It's very Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's very The Hills Have Eyes. I got scared walking up to the house at the start of the game.
Oh my god, yes.
It was the middle of the day. All I had to do was get out of a car, and I'm like, nah, just turn around, mate. It's okay. Leave the bitch, right?
I don't love it that much. Go home.
But no, the whole thing is terrifying. You know, guys can come back into a room at any point, and there's this huge, overwhelming presence of horror until about 2/3 of the way through the game, and it's just like they just phoned it in. And I don't know if it gets very samey. You think you're at the end, and then something else changes, and it gets to the point where the game is just not scary anymore. Maybe I got used to it. Yeah. Maybe it was just over immersion.
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, I fell in love with my
kid. I fell in love with
I fell in love with the kidnapped family.
It was time to be part of the family.
Give me a spoon of that guts, Ma. That looks great.
But do you know what? While you say they phoned it in, isn't that kind of what every horror game is? There's always a template and then like a way that you do every puzzle.
Okay, look at the first Resident Evil.
Yep.
That was the same pretty much tempo from start to finish.
Yep.
Resident Evil 2. It varied throughout the game, but then again, you changed CDs, you played as the other character, you got a whole new story, and then again, you got to fucking swap CDs over, and maybe you got to carry something over from the game. If you did both of those when you played Resident Evil 3, which is a giant pile of crap.
I love 3. I love 3.
Well, then you were dropped on your head as a child. But I mean, your mother can't help you now. But it's it was okay. Resident Evil 4.
Here we go.
Groundbreaking. I personally didn't enjoy it as much as everybody else did.
I didn't enjoy the gameplay. I had it on the Wii and it annoyed me.
That's
you
why.
had it on the Wii?
But then again, you also didn't like the over-the-shoulder thing you were saying before as well. Like
the whole
the
third
camera was saying.
That's technically second person.
Yeah, it's odd. Because third person is like Gears of War.
Yeah.
And then first person is like Battlefield 1.
Mm-hmm.
But then Resident Evil 4 is like over the shoulder, but close enough that you can't see all of him. You just see part of him.
A large part of your screen is being taken up by Leon Kennedy, the most unbelievable character to ever be written into any script.
Really?
Because
I'll throw the name Ashley at you. Because that girl did nothing except scream and get kidnapped.
She was very good at it.
And then you managed to unlock the giant suit of armor for her.
So no one could pick her up.
Yeah,
Yes.
so you just ignored her the entire game.
Are we going to have this entire conversation and not mention the little dwarf guy in that game who ended up getting eaten by a giant plant that you had to fight?
And I think what's important to remember is he had a family. He was a lovable dwarf person with a family. And we say rest in peace his zombie bones.
Well then, okay, moving on from that, Resi 4 was a reboot. But it was a good reboot. They were going in the right direction. They were doing the right thing. Okay, maybe they didn't follow through right all the way. Resident Evil 5 happened. They kept with the over-shoulder stuff with racist overtones. Yay! But they made a semi-successful co-op.
Yep.
An okay story, and you finally got to shove it to Wesker, which was always good.
But did you?
Yes.
I'm
But
assuming
did you?
did, because I didn't play Resident Evil 6, because I have a soul.
Well, I'll tell you what. You know nothing of it in 6. I'm just saying play 7 properly. Moving on swiftly.
No, woo. Actually, no.
I'll go back to a quick point. You said you really liked 5.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed 5 as well. As a game, I think it was much better than 4.
It was one of my favourite games.
Graphically, it was better.
I've played it a few times.
Again, she was annoying, and Chris was a bit of a tank for no reason.
Yeah, he was totally abusing the steroids before
He was like, oh man, I'm just going to take some of these herbs because they give me health, and then I'm going to take this injection over here because that also gives me health. Boom.
But the thing, I think they over-sexualized the female character. They over-masculated the guy.
Sorry, they what?
I don't know the word, woman. Know your place. Bring me a sandwich. No. But no,
we do not condone anything Rob says on the show.
But no, I think they did. It could have been better. The inventory system, you have to agree, was garbage.
Yeah.
The fact that even if you were playing with a friend, trying to swap a single item was terrible. The racist stuff at the start, I didn't really get. I mean, as far as I was concerned, you're in Africa, there's going to be...
Yeah, when I first played it, I didn't understand that there was racist overtones until I replayed it about 2 years later and went, oh, so this wasn't just a zombie game, this was a political horror.
Yes, it's not only the umbrella is part of the clan, okay? But I think it was the bit with, like, when you're in the fan boat and you're going from island to island and you're taking on the tribe members.
Yeah.
You know what, guys? I'm going to get in the boat. I'm going to go home. Y'all just, you know what, umbrella, you can just have this joint now. I'm out, drops mic, walks away.
Yeah, I don't feel like that was a good idea on their part, but that does then lead on to 7 in some ways, because 7
so we're just jumping 6.
Oh, 6 didn't happen.
Yeah, okay.
6 didn't happen.
I played 6 up to the point where you can make Chris sit on that, like, rocking chair thing in the play park, and I thought, you know what, I got an achievement, I'm out.
I don't think I even made it that far. I think I got like halfway through like the first tiny bit.
Yep.
It's like,
The first
game
bit with,
ever.
The first bit with Leon in the city, and I was like, I'm done.
The most amusing thing about the game was the fact that the logo kind of looked like a giraffe.
It looked like a giraffe. It did.
Yeah.
Oh, and when did Wesker have a son? That was a thing? When did that happen?
When mysteries.
Because science and reason.
Well, who says it's a son? Maybe it's a clone and told he was a son. Because Wesker was all about his
someone
test
should
tube.
just shoot him now and get it over with. We know how that last guy hung in there for 5 games. I mean, he was a survivor.
Which is how we're going to get 6.1, 6.2, 6.3, all the way to 12.
But the thing is, after the colossal fuck up that was 6, I like the fact they rebooted it and they made 7. That proves that they're they're realizing we have a problem. This was like their AA.
Their first thing they did was clearly went, get the book, burn the book, rewrite the book.
Hi, my name is Capcom and I have a problem.
Hi,
Capcom.
That was it. I mean, for me, when they decided to make it first person, a lot of people were like, oh no, they've made it first person, it's just Outlast. First person for me is so much scarier. And they made it, going back to it, VR.
Yeah, that's kind of my only issue with it, apart from the fact that I can't play it because it's too scary.
Yeah.
The fact that you notice little bits where you're like, oh, that'll be really good in VR, but I don't like VR. It's like how I feel about 3D films.
But that's because, again, you have glasses.
Yeah, they give me a headache. I don't like them.
Well, the thing, I don't like 3D
So,
movies.
really, to be noted here, the problem is Victoria. And not 3D films.
Well, no, I don't like 3D movies just because I feel like I'm looking too much at the 3D thing, going, oh, look, 3D, and I'm not hearing any of the plot or the story.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the things jumping out at me at the screen, going, wee!
That was pretty much actually all the 5th Resident Evil film?
What's
fifth
that?
one?
What?
I stopped at 1, saw bits of 2, and then forgot there was anything after
I think
that.
I
kinda
watched.
like them.
I kind of watched up to 4. The first one they did, it was like the first game. The second one,
Which had a great soundtrack, by the way.
Yeah.
Marilyn Manson,
Was-
Korn, Slipknot.
And it's
it's like they're wasted on this movie. What was the one in the desert? Was that the third one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fourth one took place on a boat, but kind of also Japan. Or was it Japan and then the boat?
I don't know.
Or was that the 5th one? I don't know. How many are there? Should I keep going?
Are we on 7 now?
I honestly don't know.
Well, the final one's just come out,
Yeah.
I think. Where it's just like,
And that was straight to DVD.
But I
aren't
remember
they all?
No.
I remember watching one, and it was just after I'd played the 5th Resident Evil game for like the 3rd time. And I watched it and I was like, this is exactly like the game. Like, you had the giant Axemen and you had the chainsaw
Right.
dudes. And You could tell it looked really pretty in 3D, but
And I'll tell you why it looked like the game is because when they're given the directorial sheets for this, they work hand in hand with the game producers a lot of the time. When the fifth one came out, there was a large article in the back of one of the PlayStation magazines, which was an interview with the director. And he was explaining they get told the plots to the games several months beforehand, meaning that they can go make their film to make sure they don't clash, and that they can continue certain ideas. So like you said, there'll be certain villains that look the same, or
yeah.
like when Silent Hill film came out alongside the game, it had Pyramid Head. Like, obviously, everybody knew who Pyramid Head was. Like, you see him and he is, like, a horror game bad guy now. That's the first thing I think of when I say Silent Hill.
Like Mickey Mouse. You know, he's like the spokesperson for the whole series.
We're not all terrified.
Hi, folks!
The real horror is that's Mickey Mouse in there.
I'm gonna fuck a mannequin!
So, yeah, I mean, obviously, like, when that came out and the film came out, they had to put him in there. So little nuances like that with the film, I can kind of get behind.
It was less nuances and more the film and the game had this horrific love child that had just like spawned onto the cinema screen, and I may as well have just gone and not paid the extra money and just played the game again.
Now, do you know what's funny is I know Phil will listen to this, and my friend Phil is a huge Resident Evil fan, and he's probably clawing his eyes out right now. And about the only thing he's agreed with so far was the fact that I said 3 was good. And he's currently putting his thumbs in his eyes.
Get a job.
Okay, so moving on to 7 though, we were saying about it being, kind of over the shoulder, first person, scary.
Over the shoulder. No, it was right out the front of the eyes.
Was it though?
Oh, but it was.
VR.
The only thing they did is that they released the demo first of all, and I played the demo first.
Which was great.
It was really good, but you walked into the house once you bought the game, and you immediately went to the fireplace and pulled the handle. You're like, haha, dicks, I know this is here. You ain't got nothing on me.
But that's the thing, did you get the coin from the demo?
I did not get a coin from the demo.
Because if you got the true ending to the demo, where you escaped, you got given one of the old coins that you could put into the
antique coins that you use to upgrade the guns and stuff. Well, not upgrade, but
to get new guns, weapons, and steroids. Yeah.
So how far have you gotten in the game?
I've escaped the house.
You escaped the first house.
We're out to the caravan.
Oh, all right. No, that's something. No, that's good.
I made it.
He said with a smile on his face, trying not to laugh.
I mean, how long have you had the game?
You
had the game before I did.
I may have bought it on release day.
You've still got one leg. Well, you can still hop. You can still hop.
The one that I found like plot holes in. I mean, they're cute. And it's fun. And this doesn't read it because you see it yourself. The character that you play, Ethan.
Yep.
I remember his name.
Yes.
He gets his hand cut off.
Correct.
And they staple it back on.
Yes,
and
they do.
no one mentions a goddamn word about that for the rest of the game.
Well, I question how long he's been knocked out for.
Well, you thought they'd actually been infected himself.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, they don't need to staple on. That shit would just grow back.
But you see, I thought about this. Would they know that? Because obviously, without going too much into it, they're obviously self-aware at certain parts of the game, and there's certain things that they do throughout the game that make you question what's really going on. And to me, when you see his hand, and you do see his hand in the first, I think it's 15 minutes or so, you see it get lopped off, and it's fine. Once you see the first 15 minutes, you kind of go, oh, I've lost my hand, maybe I'll get an awesome hook. That
would have been awesome.
But unfortunately, you don't get a hook, and you get your hand stapled back on.
And a nice iWatch. With your heartbeat sensor.
You do, you get your watch back. But to me...
No, you never have the watch to start with. They give you that watch. This is like, congratulations.
Welcome to the family.
You've made it to dinner. We have a certain limited number of eye products you can test.
But I kind of wondered, will it end up that he was infected?
Well, I know, because I've seen one of the endings.
So have I, but will it end up as, the DLC? Because games are doing this now, where they release DLC and you get the real ending to a game. Because it's terrible. There's certain games, I think it was Asura's Wrath, released an extra 6 chapters in the DLC that gave you the real ending to the game.
See, that's terrible. That is utterly terrible. This game is great, but pay more to actually find out what happens. I mean, Resident Evil 7, I think they've already got their a DLC coming out. I don't know if it is. It's called Daughters, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the
I know
next
you
one
play as spoiler alert, a guy whose name you may have heard of before.
Ringo Starr.
So you, as Ringo Starr, I mean, you go in, and I swear, when I met Ringo Starr at the end of my ending, sounds so weird. When I met Ringo Starr at the end of my playthrough, I literally almost threw the controller of the TV in rage because it made no sense. You take off in a helicopter with a logo on the side, which also makes no goddamn sense.
See, that's why it makes sense, because games companies have now gone, Season Pass! Which means you're going to buy it to find out what goes on.
And sequel, probably.
Yeah, and EA and companies like that have led the way for this, which is another reason to #fuck EA. Let's get that trending. No,
Yeah, right. Someone may have beaten it to us. But the thing is, I don't think they're going to be able to make a sequel to this game. Purely, yes, they can get add-ons and downloadable content for that, and they can make it better, maybe a bit longer. But they've done this now. They've set the cast. They've done the haunted house Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing. They're going to have to find another way. They can't just go to another house in Louisiana. By the way, the neighbors were fucked up too, so we're going there next. I mean,
they tell you
they
at the
didn't
time.
even know. They just thought you guys were having a party. You know.
there's two routes they can go. You get away from the house, you know, as you'd expect at the end of a horror game, like the end of a horror film, one person gets away. And then all of a sudden you run into Leatherface and it just takes Chainsaw Massacre, as you said, and we get a lovely crossover.
Womp womp.
Or we get what I've always wanted, which is a game from Wesker's perspective, and you find out he was actually a lot more evil than you've ever noticed. And it's all through choices that he made.
Wait. I feel like you're going to ruin this an alternate ending here for me. But I mean, the only... Well, yeah, there's like, how many endings to that game?
I think there's 4.
I got one.
Yeah.
I got ending number 1. I've been talking to somebody else online. Actually, I've been talking to 2 or 3 people. Most people I know got 1. Ending number 1. And it comes down to, I think, 2 distinct choices that you make in the game.
Yep.
And I know only one person that's got ending 2. I have no idea what happens in the other ones. Obviously, you have cheated, gone onto YouTube and watched them all because you suck.
Maniacal laugh. Insert maniacal laugh here.
But I mean, there was just so like getting back. I know we're talking like 20 minutes ago now. When I said they phoned it in, it's right at the end. When I was playing the game, I was scavenging for ammo. I was looking in every corner, picking up every gun the whole way through the game. I was like micromanaging my inventory, trying to make it work. And that was part of the fun. I'm not going to lie. That was quite good because it was about survival. What do I need now? It took me a long time to realize that after I killed the bug lady, I can pretty much take that flamethrower and throw it in the bin. But but you get to the end. You get to the end of the game, and this is not ruining it for you because I'm just saving you some rage.
It's fine. I think it's gone on long enough that I should just accept the fact.
No,
But it's going to get ruined for me.
We're going to get you through this game.
By the time the second show happens, if you haven't played it, you're fired.
I'll look out of the caravan by that point.
Literally, right at the end, you play epic boss battle, and I'm like, yes, I have literally all the bullets. There can be all the guns. And they say, no, use this gun that you've just got. Here's some ammo. Shoot that thing about 5 times, roughly where its face is, and you're done. And I was left sat there, staring at the TV. Obviously, I shot the thing 5 times in the face. It was trying to kill me. But I mean, what's the point? What's the point in that?
But is that not like all games now? Like, okay, so even going back to fighting games, like Streets of Rage 2, phenomenal game. Guess what you do though? You play through a level, you beat a boss. You play through the next level, you beat a boss. You get to the end of the game and you get the big boss, who, sadly, is beaten the same way as all the other bosses. You punch him in the face a lot. There's not a lot of tact to it.
Consistency.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. Resident Evil, also consistent. You played through 5. What happened? You played a level. There was a big thing at the end. You played the next level. There was a big thing. You play to the end, and you get Wesker, who turns into a really stupid big thing at the end.
Which you have to stab.
And push him to lava.
Yeah.
You push him in
don't forget punching through a rock first.
That's real. I heard that. He took steroids.
I actually punched through a rock to actually get here tonight. So,
Of course.
It's just something men do.
We get up in the morning, we shower, we shave, we punch a rock,
I
we get
don't
on with our day. But yeah, I mean, to me, they didn't phone it in. It was just another level where they were like, boss battle. The Arkham games were great for it. Because they went, we've got all different bosses, but see when you break it down, they're all the same. They've all got a method to beat them.
Yeah, kind of. But that's the same with all boss fights.
Yep.
There's always a pattern recognition, apart from if you're playing, if you are into complete and utter self-harm and you want to play Ninja Gaiden, because that was just insanely difficult. And if you're at home and you've played Ninja Gaiden, you're lying to yourself because you can't beat it, you can't play it. It is just there to just hurt you internally and mentally, and I hate you. Obviously, I've got some history with this game. A game that I thought was really good. It was quite scary at points. It was really difficult. Dark Souls.
I played 20 minutes of it and I got too annoyed with it. I have no patience for games like
that. But that was part of the game. Dark Souls was about, it's a lot like just punching yourself in the
If
dick
you're an
over and over and over
alcoholic
again.
and you want a way to get off booze, pick up Dark Souls. That's all you'll do with your life.
Get off booze. That'll make you drink.
No. You're too busy dying to pick the ball up. Because you throw the controller and then you pick it up and go again.
That's why you have the helmets with the cans on.
Oh, of course, with the two cans either
Or
side.
like-
the
I mean,
straw.
if you're an
A
alcoholic,
Camelback.
you've got to think ahead.
Or you can get those ones that you can attach to your underwear now.
Well, I mean,
That's a real thing. It's a bag that you attach to your underwear via Velcro, and you have the tube up through your shirt, and it comes out the top like a button. So when you're at a festival, you pop the button off and pull it up, and you can drink
you
out
can
of it.
get
that sounds awesome. I'm going to use that in
bras
the
that
market.
do that as well.
Yeah, which I imagine keep your boobs really cold.
Well, it depends what you
Because
put
I'm
in
going to
it.
need one of those this summer. I need cold breasts. No one likes underboob sweat.
But then your nipples might get too hard and it'll pop the bag.
They're not pointy.
They're not bullets.
It depends how cold
You
you
know
get.
Can't wait till I get those pierced again.
My god, cutting glass sometimes.
Getting back to what we were talking about.
That's right. The mother in Resident Evil has very pointy nipples.
Which, fairly enough, is the weak point, the bit you have to shoot at.
That's not even a lie. Oh, I wish that was
What
a
the hell
lie.
were we talking about?
We were moving swiftly on.
Dark
so
Souls.
Dark Souls. Oh, yeah. Well, Dark Souls. Why was I talking about Dark Souls? It's really hard. It's really amazing. It's really good. But every single boss that you fight is... Okay, maybe they're a different pattern to each one. But it is so goddamn difficult. It's so original in its concept where it could be coming at you from the sky. Maybe there's two of them. Maybe there's three of them. Maybe you could roll off a cliff and die. I mean, it's just awesome that way. It was an original concept that I think other games really need to take on.
I will say the hardest boss in gaming of all time, and we're going to move on after this because you're going to think I'm nuts.
Yeah, well, I want to argue. But
Is-
I already know you're wrong.
If you play through and you play it properly, the first two Sonic the Hedgehog games, where you have to get all of the Chaos Emeralds to actually beat Robotnik, completely beat him, and not let him run away, is the hardest thing you'll ever do, because the full game is a boss battle. Because you need all of the Chaos Emeralds to actually beat him.
I like the Chaos Emerald. You run down the little half
Yeah,
pipe
but
and do the little...
They're so hard to do if you do it wrong. Because if you time the last one wrong, your entire game is fucked. Because that means everything you've done till that point is pointless.
Can't you actually beat that game in like 30 minutes?
You can do it with Mario in 11 seconds, but no one talks about that.
11 seconds.
There's
11 minutes. You can
Playthroughs
do-
online.
You show me
Each-
an 11
each
seconds.
level is
All right,
11
we're going to stop
seconds.
the podcast. I've proved this guy wrong. I've seen an 11-minute playthrough.
It means he's going to touch me again. Okay, so before we get too convoluted, we've now hit 3/4 of the way through the show, which quite impressively we've
Aw.
survived. I'm quite impressed myself. We've made it this far, and we've managed to talk all the topics.
Well, I thought we
For
were
this week's big topic,
Ooh.
the big one,
Oh, yes. Oh, this is what I wanted.
which Craig of the future, if you're listening, you're going to insert some kind of audio clip going, the big one, at this point.
Oh, that'd be cool.
With just the sound of unzipping.
Yep, that's it. By the way, I'm totally leaving this in the first show, so in the second show, all these bits are going to be included. We're going to discuss franchises of such.
No, we're going to talk about one franchise right now.
Well, we'll probably branch off, because we always do. Let's start with the classic, The favourite that Rob's been wanting to talk about. How'd you find the Alien films, guys?
Womp womp.
Oh, okay, so
my God.
okay,
Right, who's going first?
Let's just
Because I'm going to
understand
destroy whoever goes.
Can we go? Alien 1, how do we find it? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10
The
being
original first,
good.
number one.
Alien
First
1, on a scale of 1 to 10?
Loved it. 10.
6.
You suck. Get out.
7.
Alien 2.
10.
6.
3.
Oh, about 5.
Don't think I've watched it.
Good.
yeah.
Alien Resurrection.
What was the scale? Can I award
1 to
negative
10.
points?
-5.
It was actually really good up until the point until that thing got birthed. So I'm going to give it 3.
Okay.
I enjoyed it purely
Because you were laughing the whole way through?
Yeah. From a zoological point of view, it's quite interesting.
From a zoological point of view.
Yes.
I heard they went to the Xenomorph Zoo to see how this would be happening in space.
Actually, what they did is they went to David Attenborough.
Yeah.
Here we have the xenomorph in a zero-gravity environment. Note how it loves Ripley because she's got a shaved head and she looks all... Oh, she's hot.
I'll give
live birth and all
I'll
this.
give Resurrection a 7 out of 10 on the basis
That you're drunk?
that that Ripley is super hot in that film. Because she aged well. And I'm okay with that. And she wears tight clothes the entire time and I sound like a pervert. Prometheus. Because I'm including this in the franchise. Victoria, how do you find it?
I'm sorry, we're
did you get that-
skipping
yeah,
Alien versus Predator?
Yeah.
That joy?
Okay, fine.
I like that movie. You can
I
all go to
liked it as
hell.
well.
Okay.
Nice. High five.
Yeah, we were talking about that. It's a good film. I just don't think it should be included in the franchise. I think it should have been like a standoff. That's it. Like Freddy vs. Jason shouldn't have been in the franchise, but it is.
No, okay, no, I understand where you're coming from. That makes sense. All right, we'll circle back to
Okay,
this Predator and
so
prove it wrong.
Prometheus. On a scale of 1 to 10, how'd you find it, Victoria?
5?
Very well.
I want to go to the home of the person that made it and salt the earth. I think it is garbage. I think the graphics were good, all that. I think they spent lots of money. They got really good actors. They got Michael Fassbender, that bit at the start, and he's cycling around doing the basketball thing.
The 10
that
minutes
was
of silence.
sweet.
It's great.
And then the rest of the film happened, and I'm like, no, this is no longer sweet. This is shit. There's so many loopholes. There's so many things that any normal sane person would have done differently. If there is a giant ship shaped like a horseshoe about to roll over you and you're trying to outrun
Oh
it,
my God, just
you
run
just
sideways.
turn left, woman. I mean, here, guys, we have to stop that thing from taking off. Do we? Should we just fly the ship, or should we just, just go over there and just see what happens? We don't know where it's going. We don't know what it's doing.
It was going to Earth. They knew it contained death.
I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to fly my expensive spaceship into that thing. Earth is full of guns and nuclear weapons. And you know what? Phones. Phone ahead. Here, guys,
Because
there's a big
everyone
horseshoe coming
can
towards you. You
call
can't
from
miss it.
space.
Nuke that motherfucker.
Hey, Andromeda, take note. You need that phone.
Yeah, don't phone the Reapers.
Can we come home? No.
Please leave your name and number at the sound of the tone.
The tone is just dubstep. That's it. Yeah. But yeah, Prometheus, I'll give Prometheus, being generous, a 7 out of 10. Because I went to the cinema to see this, and artistically I went, the first 15 minutes, that silence is incredible. It's exactly the same as the first Alien film. There's silence, except for him moving around on his own, and it's super creepy.
No, but that's what I'm saying. The start of that movie was good.
It sets the tone, it sets what should have been, and
Yeah,
then all of a
sets
sudden...
the tone of...
But then people wake
Let
up.
the robot look like a Nazi.
People ruin that
with a
movie.
problem. If that film had just been the android on the planet doing his job, no one would have got hurt.
It would just be Wally.
I'd watch that again. I'd watch it again. That was Wally would have owned the shit.
R-rated,
Those aliens.
R-rated Wally. Where he's just like, that's a Xenomorph. Flower.
But you're you're glossing over the fact that the android was the one who fucked everything up for everyone.
But no, he wasn't. He did his job. If no one else had been there and there was no people, he'd have done his job.
But no,
if there were no people,
he wouldn't have been
even
able to do his
existed.
job.
No, I'm saying there was no people on that ship. He would have existed.
Aye, but he would have got to it.
Yeah, so
And
he'd have
was the
done his
one-
job, got to the planet, got the basically the pickup of the environment that he needed, got back on the ship and flown home.
But no, but he didn't
No,
do
he
that.
would have
He could
taken
have
the
done that
giant tank
anyway.
of death
But he's
with
just
him.
But no, it's just like. But the thing is, it's like, here, guys, don't touch anything. Boop.
But that's
By the way, I
because
just touched that thing.
that could have been,
Thanks.
It's only.
that could have been harmful to people.
You were a prop in that particular play. But it's not only that. Yes, he could have. Boop. Right, I've got it now. It's on my finger. I better put this in a fucking jar. Oh wait, no, it's in your coffee now, buddy.
He could have just taken it off his finger, literally removed his finger, and put it in a jar.
He could have
And
jammed
just
it up
left
his ass. It would have been safe there.
It would have been totally fine. There didn't need to be people in that film.
You know what? One person who didn't need to be in that film. Well, I enjoy him in every movie he does, but there's no reason why he should have been in that movie. Is it Guy Pearce?
Yes.
And he did. It's just like, oh, Guy Pearce. Yes, he's an awesome actor. What are you gonna do? Well, you're gonna sit in a wheelchair and be an old man.
But then...
What else? Well, you're gonna give a speech.
I'm never
be an
going to
old
carry
man.
you as an old man.
Yeah.
Oh, in the little T-Rex suit,
Oh, it's
which,
freaky.
by the way, was the most amusing part of
That
that.
is so freaky, though,
Oh, no.
right?
The most amusing part of that movie is when they're racing back to the ship because the dust storm is coming. But they never took any of those cars with them. So how they got into cars and actually got out there is a mystery. But your man, Fassbender, goes out and he's clearly just a mannequin blowing about in the wind. No, fair enough. He's a robot and he would do just that. But it was just such a horrible thing. You just couldn't get away from it. You couldn't not just think, oh my god, that's just a man in a bodysuit type
I'll
thing.
go as far as to say that Prometheus was a good starting point for a new kind of like franchise. It shouldn't have been connected to Alien. I think if they'd left it
Yes.
as it was something
Yeah.
else on that planet,
Yeah.
and she got left there, and you're left wondering, how does she survive? Film 2. It didn't need to be like, hey, we've made this thing, it's a neomorph. It's not a xenomorph, by the way, we don't talk about that. Because that's what they're called. They're called neomorphs, the white ones.
Oh, for
Because that's what they're going to be in the new one as well.
even worse.
They're called a neomorph because they were before the xenomorphs. And they're mixed with those weird engineers. Which, by the way, that octopus thing, that is one of the best things in that whole film.
Oh, the
The
failed abortion.
Yeah, the failed alien abortion, which becomes a giant octopus. That would have eaten its way out of her, by the
Also,
way.
by the way, that no
thing
one
grew
talks
really fast.
about, she goes in and she has an abortion.
And then she gets up and runs away.
Yeah,
I
and
know
it's,
people-
it's not talked about for the rest of the film. She's wandering around a ship covered in blood with her insides practically stapled in there.
Yeah, well, they are.
No one bats an
And she's
eyelid.
doing like massive cardio, running
Yeah.
around
So
after
she
a
runs
massive
away from the
surgery.
ship. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she runs and she jumps and she hits her stomach where she does had an operation and not fazed by it. And then like 10 minutes later, someone like pokes her with a stick. She's like,
Yeah. But at no point, though, did anyone consider what the father's feelings were on that alien.
I think, well, technically, if you look back at it, technically, was it not Fassbender?
Yes.
The father?
And he didn't
And
get
all
a
he
say.
did was impregnate someone's drink. He basically roofied that alien into life.
To be clear, right now we are drinking blue liquids, so this is very unconvincing.
I'm a big boy. I drink beer.
He says it's beer, it's tenants. Hashtag fuck tenants.
I mean,
Hashtag shit beer for wankers. Hashtag shit beer for wankers.
no, my other issue with that film, again, is no one talks about the fact that this guy just came back to life. Like,
Well, that's like the normal alien film.
That's like in all horror movies. There's always a dude that comes back to
it's
life.
the fact that no one, again, bats an eyelid. Like, he's there, like, half hunched over. His feet and his head is all backwards, and he's just, like, looking up and attacks half the ship. No one else mentions it after.
But again,
Like, again,
That was why
not
they
even a
opened the
passing
goddamn
comment.
door in the first place.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's just like,
But again, like the original Alien film, that guy literally is lying dead on the table and they're like, there's a thing hugging his face. It's got an airways in him, keeping him alive. Let's not touch him. And they leave him, and then the next day they're having spaghetti breakfast with him. And he gets up and he's like, oh, I'm fine. No one cares he was on a hospital bed.
I would be awesome in space. I'd be like, put that motherfucker in the airlock.
And
But when he needs medical attention, then put the doctor in there too, because he's not.
There is always that voice of reason.
Yeah,
In,
but no one ever listens to him. And do you know what?
Boy, you can't hear the
It
voice
sounds-
of reason in space.
It sounds,
do
you know what-
space, there
do you know
is
what's
no
really
voice.
bad? And it sounds super racist, and no one ever points this out in a horror film. It's either the blonde girl or the black guy that dies first. See, in your Alien films, the black guy is always the voice of reason. Because in Alien 1, he's like, nah, we shouldn't go there. This is an operation I'm not paid to do that.
Yeah, no,
That's not my
He
job.
spent the entire first half of the movie going, I want my bonus.
Yeah, and, you know what? He was right. You made him do a different
He gets it.
Well, he gets some kind of bonus and then
Wah,
dies.
wah.
His bonus was death. One check handed to him by the xenomorph on his tail that says, "You've been paid in death." And he's like, "What?"
A massive insurance payout for being xenomorph dead.
And Wayland Court was so happy.
No, because it's not covered in the contract.
Can we go back to Alien versus Predator?
The first
we
one,
can.
not the second one.
Thank you,
The
because
second one was.
Dear God, the second one was
The
shit.
second one was like Lenny Henry got given a budget and told go make a comedy film with aliens in it.
Why did you go to Lenny Henry?
Because he's a funny man.
I mean,
And that's
I
how
honestly,
funny that
to
film is.
this day, have not gotten through Alien vs. Predator Requiem. But the thing is, I read the Alien vs. Predator books, and the first book is much like the first movie. It was really, really good. They took some liberties, but all movies do. I thought it was well done. I thought that the Predators actually fighting the aliens. We needed to see more of that. I like the fact that there was an original Wayland in there, and that made that Lance Hendrickson, when he played that, cemented his role as the second person to ever be killed by an alien, a Terminator, and a Predator in all movies. First one being your man that just died. What's his name? Yeah, that guy that you all know.
R.I.P. that guy.
He was awesome. Shit.
Shaft.
No, that's
that's
Flash
Flash.
Gordon.
Anywho, this guy died. And he's been in all these
no, but I
films.
mean, the movie was sound. It was well made. The graphics were good. The story was good. Requiem, I think that someone was just looking for a paycheck.
It's set in like a wooden suburbia, and then there's like nothing for 45 minutes. Then the alien shows up, and Predator shows up somewhere, and he's like, "Hey, I
I
heard there's an
literally
alien."
went bored watching it because like you said, nothing happens in the first bit of that movie. At least there was.
I just love that Predator shows up like the Exterminator, though. And he's like, "Hey, I heard you got a pest problem. There's one of them crossed with one of me, and we need to kill that right now."
Did he turn up like in a giant pest control station?
I didn't even
But
get
he
to that
just shows
point
up
in the movie.
in a normal van.
It's a Ford Transit.
Big white van. He's like,
The big door slides open.
but of course, it's filmed from the side, so when he gets out, you see the suspension rise because of his weight.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to let that
It's like
out.
John Coffey in the
Cinematography.
Green Mile. He gets in the back of the truck.
The cat that was in the front was now shot putted to space. That's it. Also, can we mention cats are evil in alien films? That first film.
Hey, that cat survived all the way up until 3?
Yeah, but how evil is that cat?
No, it wasn't in 3, it was 2.
Oh yeah,
Well,
it
yeah.
just like skulks around the ship going, I'm gonna make noises. I'm kind of like an alien. Ah, ha, 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 and then runs off again.
Yeah, but the thing is, it can, because the alien's clearly looking at the cat going, you're not even worth my time, mate. And my cat would fucking alien up. I'm
But
safe.
It's like, it drags people off, isolates them. They have to find the cat. So like, silly cat. Oh no,
Felix!
And then they get there, and he's like, "Fucking cat. Where's the cat gone? Oh my god, the cat. Oh, there's a chinking of a chain. Silly cat. I'll go in this dark and wet corner."
Blump.
And
That was,
it's
that
just
was
like,
another thing I noticed about the first Alien movie. They had a horrible plumber because everything in that ship was leaking. It was practically raining in some sections of that ship. And here's these two guys in the bottom going, "We want our bonus. We want to get paid." Do your fucking jobs, man. Tighten a bolt. Tighten a screw. Turn the taps off. Someone's
I
left the
thought
shower
that was
running.
just because they like jerked on landing.
oh, that might.
No,
be
that was
what-
They
they were still in
damaged it.
space, weren't they? At that point,
No,
where it was
no.
all like stupidly wet and everything's hissing. And,
No, because
Well,
that's
that
how
might
it
be-
gets on the ship. They land first.
And
They get on the. It gets on
they
the ship
damage
when the
the
guy's
ship.
stomach.
Yeah, but they go out onto the
They
kind of
land on the
side.
planet and it all
Yeah,
jerks about.
they
and
fuck
then
the
they're like,
landing.
"Oh yeah, we're stuck here for 48 hours."
By
while
the
we
way,
have to
I'm
fix
totally
the
sure
ship."
they just did that because the prop shook when it hit the thing, and they're like, "We
Yeah.
can't film anymore." They're just gonna change the script. Like that's it.
But no, going back to the cat. Clearly, the cat is in cahoots with the alien. This happens. My cat used to like be in cahoots with my dog,
I was going to say, because your cat was friends with the xenomorph too.
Yes, always. No, my cat used to
explains so
like he used to find it hilarious when the dog got yelled at. So he would knock food off the countertop for the dog to eat, because then would yell at the dog.
Evil cats.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk?
Well, no, that cat's not really evil. I mean, it's not leading a giant alien to anyone's
No.
complete demise. I mean,
Yes, it is. It's leading the little people away so the alien can get it easier.
Next week on Evil Cat Podcast.
How did we start with VR headsets and move to cats? That's
And
a good. We are a good podcast.
That's the joys of opinion.
And in this joy, I have a story about VR headsets and cats.
It's only an hour long.
Yeah. A friend of mine who was playing the demo for Resident Evil on
Yes.
his VR.
Yeah.
And his
So we circle round. Well done.
his cat walked past him, brushed past his leg, shat himself. Because he didn't know what it was.
Oh, is that the
And
end
he
of the
thought
story?
it was a zombie. Yes,
I thought this
that
was going to be
was
like
the
an
story.
alien and shit going on. No, but well, getting back to VR, every single thing I've heard is amazing. I mean, yeah, okay, you probably shouldn't play it if you got
Cats in the room.
cats in the room or motion sickness.
Or
Apparently, that's a
glasses.
massive thing.
Epilepsy, glasses. You probably shouldn't do it
Contacts.
on medication. You shouldn't do it when you're drinking. You shouldn't have things in the room with you.
Whoa. What's this about not drinking?
Yeah, well, you gotta move around a lot, so you don't want to be drunk and
I
knocking
can
everything
move and
over.
drink at the same time. I probably won't get the can to my face, but can I get the can to my face? Do I need a straw? I feel like Archer
Do me a
right
favor,
now.
put that on and see if you can get it to your face.
Yeah, man, I got this.
Can you get the can to your face?
Oh,
And
wait,
drink?
I've got a ponytail.
Right, but can you drink without hitting the top of the VR headset?
Fuck the beer. I might need a
Right.
haircut.
Okay, so let's try drink this right now.
No, I got it.
Okay, so you can do it. That's
But you
official.
are now looking up, and if you're playing Alien Isolation, the alien has now killed you.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
sure
it's
the
just
alien
eating.
can take a break for a minute and be like, look, mate.
It should be noted. It should be noted that now we've conducted experiments on the show. We are a scientific show and we'd like funding. You can send all funding to
Science.
www.weneedcash.com.
You need GoFundMe.
Oh, GoFundMe, yeah, that would work. Big thank you to everyone who's listened tonight. Obviously, if you enjoyed, please like, share, and subscribe. Feel free to tune in same time next week. Obviously, we'll upload this with standard dates, blah, 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 edit out. Computer's frozen, blah, 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 edit out. There we go. That was really worrying. Woo! Thanks, guys.
We've just
Thank you.
lost all